This is a session that everybody's been eagerly awaiting, and I'm sure you're not going to be disappointed. Ladies and gentlemen, our session focuses on don't sell a product, market a lifestyle. And this is powered by Harley-Davidson. It's a case study and a collaboration shared between brand values and partners, a brand and its partners. Please put your hands together for a customer, Otis D'Souza, a person who is a die-hard Harley-Davidson fan. Put your hands together for Otis D'Souza. Please put your hands together for a business partner who brings Harley-Davidson to millions of passionate Harley-Davidson fans. A warm welcome to Arjun Bhavna. And to make the presentation and then engage in an interactive conversation with both of them, a very charming lady, Pallavi Singh, Director Marketing, Harley-Davidson. Pallavi. Well, it takes a woman to drive a man's world. Pallavi, over to you.
So good evening, everyone. It's so nice to see a house full. So thank you so much, IFF, for inviting us, and that was a great introduction. Thank you so very much. Very kind words. So it was the winter of 2009 when I joined Harley-Davidson. And I still remember walking into a building which just had 5 workstations. And I didn't know what this brand can do. And honestly, I was a bit disappointed. Because you've read about Harley-Davidson and you know what it does, the scale of the brand. But to my surprise, until I went for the first time to visit the birthplace, for the first time when I went and visited the birthplace of Harley-Davidson, which is in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And what I saw is when I realized that I am part of something so big. It was motorcycles, it was customers, it was leathers, it was music. And then I understood that Harley-Davidson does not sell a product, it markets a lifestyle. And it was then that when I met Willie G. Davidson, and I was very young back then, I looked like a little girl. So, and he told me one thing, that you, along with so many more people, and who are going to be riding the motorcycles in your country, are going to experience something which is going to surprise you, and it has surprised us in so many ways. We've grown leaps and bounds like anything, only because of one reason, because what we understood was you have to bring the same experience and the same lifestyle which is outside. And that's what we've been working on since 2009. And this is the motorcycle, right, which you see on the screen, one of its kind. And when I say one of its kind, which means one in the world. This is the tricolor. When we launched the company in India, we said, yes, it's an American icon. And we want the Americana feeling to come to India. But it's also very important that we bring the cultural context into it. And we built this motorcycle in the US factory, and it came down to India, and it was pure Harley, pure India. So we set the lifestyle, but in a very cultural context way. And to now, when we've actually built a motorcycle in this country for the riders and for everybody across the world. So from 2009 to today, we've always focused on 2 things, which is, of course, the product, but how do we make that product a lifestyle? Which brings me to what we're talking about, is that don't sell a product, market a lifestyle. Of course, I think some of you and most of you would know that we are 114 years brand, 1,400 dealers around the world, with 92 countries, and 1 million HOG members. And when I say HOG members, You just met Otis, who's sitting right here, a very passionate hog member, has done so many kilometers on his bike, and which he's going to talk about. And we are the #1 premium motorcycle brand. And I say it proudly standing on the stage that we are the #1 premium motorcycle brand. And what is this lifestyle? This question, and a lot of times people say, what is this lifestyle? And I think if you look at this image, this particular person is actually carrying this lifestyle. He's off the bike, but he carries this attitude wherever he goes. So when you become a Harley owner and you become a hog member, you always carry a motorcycle in your pocket. You always have that card with you, and you carry your attitude with you. And that's what this image really talks about. So it brings us to what? If today you will see a motorcycle parked in Bombay, same model of Harley-Davidson, and the same model parked in Delhi, they will never look the same. They both look different. And we have a saying in Harley-Davidson, no two Harleys are the same, every customer a custom. Hence, you buy into an identity. You're not buying a product. It is your personal personification of who you are and what you stand for. It is an image of yourself. So customers, of course, we are all marketers, and we all focus on research and insights. They have needs, and they have motivations, and they have wants. So Harley-Davidson is not a need, it is a want. Everybody cannot own a Harley-Davidson, and everybody does not belong to this, because there is a reason. There are desires, there are needs, and there are wants. When you buy a Harley-Davidson, you cross a frontier. You become something else, and you become true self of your own self. And that is why it is not a brand for everybody. It's a brand for the brave heart. And we say it proudly. We really say it is a brand for the brave heart. And I think we all have that child in us. We all have that child. We just have to take that one step and be true to ourselves. And that's why we are not marketing a product. We are marketing a lifestyle. We are bringing life in the soul of the rider. So of course, then connect to the core desires, and that's at the very fundamental level that we understand that what is the desire of our customers that they want to ride this motorcycle. Which brings me to a very essential element of what is the difference between a product and a lifestyle. So this is, of course, the heart of our engine, the heart of a rider. When he puts his leg, or she puts her legs around the saddle, you feel the thumb of the V-twin. You feel something there, which the child in you feels like, oh my God. And that smile on your face says it all. You don't have to say anything to anybody else, because you're making that statement for yourself. You're exploring your own life. So of course, product, and the most important aspect of our brand is that we've stuck to the true values of our brand. We've stuck to the authenticity of what Harley-Davidson is. From 1903 to today, the V-twin is the heart of Harley-Davidson. And we are very proud of it. We are very, very proud of the heritage. And that's what the authentic brand has to bring on table. Which brings me to, if there is a product, there has to be an image of the rider on it, otherwise it's incomplete. So this is the lifestyle. They carry the brand on themselves, and proudly and very, very passionately. So what is the secret sauce? Truth be told, I really don't know. And I think as marketers, it's very important. If you know it all, our job is done. But I think the beauty is it's a constant learning. It's meeting your customers face to face, understanding what they really want from their heart, and not just, sitting at your office and punching few. I mean, it's good, we must do that. We get paid for it. But the most important thing is that really understanding what they really feel from heart. Why do they why do they use this product? But I think the only two things, and I've been fortunate to work with a brand like this, is we have a purpose. And I think the purpose, whether you work for any other brand, what is the purpose of your brand in the consumer's life? What does it bring on table? And the purpose for us is that we fulfill dreams of personal freedom. And we give a reason to ride to our customers. And that's at a very fundamental level applies to every single brand, that there has to be a purpose. Of course, from employees to customers to our business partners, extremely passionate people. And when you'll see Otis and Arjun talking, you'll feel the passion they have. And the most important thing, we're all riders. It's very important to get yourself on the product, know your product so well from your heart that you can stand and talk about your product from heart, not from a transactional level. And I think it goes for any brand. And I will share a case study in the following slides that some of you must be thinking, yeah, it's very easy because, it's a really iconic brand and there is so much around it. But there are a few brands who've done phenomenally in this space when it comes to community building. And then I just wanted to bring this element of lifestyle. Music itself, if you look at from Jimi Hendrix to Kid Rock to Elvis Presley, they've all ridden Harley-Davidson motorcycles because music is a self-expression. Music is something you express from your soul. And Harley-Davidson, when you hear the sound of the V-twin, it is very, very similar to that music to a musician, to what it is to a rider. So from then to now, it is still relevant to the generation today. So we are 114 years old, but still relevant today among the young generation. We have a lot of riders who are riding our motorcycle so there is no stereotypical Harley owner. They're riding, we have a customer riding from 28 to a 70-year-old man. So it's just so diverse only because of a reason that they're not riding a motorcycle. They're exploring their own life on the two wheels. So who is this customer? He's somebody who wants to experience life, somebody who's an explorer, someone who stands for who he or she is. So with that, I want, a gentleman, Otis D'Souza, who's done 120,000 kilometers on his motorcycle. And there's a saying he always says whenever we are at an event that, I like to grab my life by the handlebars. And that says a lot. But before I get him on stage and he shares his experience, I want to play a video. If we can cue the video, please.
I'll never forget it. It was the 4th of December 2010. Somebody said, let's walk down to the Harley showroom. Walked down to the showroom, saw this very same bike and said, it's for sale? Yeah, okay, pack it up. 30th of December in the evening at 8 o'clock, I got the motorcycle. 1st of January 2011, I came home. I'd done 800 kilometers. That's nothing more to say. But when I'm by myself, when I'm on my motorcycle and I've got my music, I plug in my iPod, put on my helmet. You leave the mundaneness of life in another space. It's helped me to, as you'd say, fine-tune my life. It's thrown up the weaknesses in me. It's thrown out the strengths that I didn't know I have. It's thrown out the fact that I am in control of me. To me, there is no other motorcycle apart from Harley-Davidson. It's not about the motorcycle. Harley-Davidson is about the only automobile brand that you paint on your hand. And you know it's here for life. And you'll carry it with pride. It's a badge of honor. When I go, I'd really like this on my tombstone. You ask what kind of man he was? He rode a Harley. It's one simple statement. But it's what that name, Harley, stands for: freedom. We tend to think of freedom as the right to do what we like. Whereas within a Harley context, freedom gives you the responsibility of doing the right thing. There's a logical way of going around everything. And today, that's what this brand challenges me to do, to react to facts, to react to what I know, not what I've been told, to react to who I am, not what people think I am. In December, I had a massive accident. It nearly killed me on the same bike. That's why it's not so much a motorcycle to me as it is a person. My last thought that I remember was, this is where I die. I remember then my next recollective thought was tremendous pain. And it turned out I had multiple fractures in my skull. That was just over 4 months ago. 4 months later, I'm back on a motorcycle. To me, that's Harley-Davidson. That's what it's about. It's about getting up and getting it done. And you don't sit down. There is no time to wimp out. And no other brand stands for that as much as Harley-Davidson does. It's about not accepting limitations anymore. And you can sit back on life and wait for it to happen. But what Harley says is, get on top of life, hit the start button, and make it. She's big, she's fat, she got cellulite. She grunts, growls, and farts. But I love her.
So, Otis, come on.
I will apologize. Yes, that's the video that I did do for Harley-Davidson. I'm not much of a public speaker, so I'm just going to try my best to express what owning a Harley-Davidson has done for me. Okay, I must have been about 19 or 20 years old when I first dreamed of one day owning a Harley-Davidson motorcycle. I've always loved two wheels. My first bike was a little scooty, which I stole from my dad. I would take his bike when he was not there. And the first motorcycle I owned, I bought a piece of junk for 500 rupees, and I did it up. And that's when I realized that motorcycling is in my blood. And then my lifestyle led me to meet people who owned and rode Harley-Davidsons. And there was something about them. They were not like anybody else. They were unique. They had their own passions. They were passionate people. But I think the one attribute I admired most was they were unapologetic about who they were. And that struck something in me. And on December the 30th, 2010, I think, Norriton? Yeah. Yeah, he remembers me because I'm the worst customer he's ever had, I think. Yeah, on the 30th of December 2010, I got my hands on my very own motorcycle. I was 47 years old, gray-haired and everything, and it took 27 years for that Harley-Davidson to come to me. That's a very poor delivery schedule, 27 years. So I got my Harley when I was 47, and since then, what has happened to me? I found myself. If you ask me if Harley is a product, not to me. If you ask me if Harley is a brand, not to me. To me, Harley is life. Sorry, my hands are shaking, so I'll move to the podium. Like I said, I'm not a speaker. To me, Harley is everything that Otis D'Souza stands for. And like you saw in the video, I actually hope this does happen. One day there will be a tombstone, and I do hope that the fact that I ride a Harley-Davidson motorcycle will tell the world exactly my opinions and where I stand. And there is another video which, if you ever go out and do your research, there is a line that Harley-Davidson has used. The machine that you sit on will tell the world exactly where you stand. I've ridden all over the country. I've been as far east as Calcutta. I've been as far south as Kanyakumari. I've been as far north as Manali. And I've been as far west as most of Rajasthan and Gujarat. And I've done this over the last 7 years, and people thought I was crazy. I've had my share of tumbles on this bike. I've broken bones. I've cut my skin. I've done everything. In fact, like it was said on the video, one of the accidents nearly killed me. In any other context, I would have walked away from this lifestyle. When it comes to Harley-Davidson, and maybe that's what it is about life, which is why for me Harley is not so much a brand or a product, but intrinsically who I am, retold by everybody, the gurus, so to speak. Face your fears. Face your fears. There's nothing wrong with being scared. There's nothing wrong with being scared. Face your fears, analyze them, and move forward. Till date, whenever I get on that motorcycle and I'm heading out of the city, I'm terrified. I can't tell you that I'm scared. I can't tell you that I don't know. Terrified is the only word I know how to use. And yet, because I ride a Harley, I will face that fear. I will face that fear, I will analyze that fear, and I will get on that bike and I will ride. And that's what Harley-Davidson is for me. A religion almost, so to speak, a philosophy to live by. It gives me direction. The brand makes me look good, and I'll tell you what, I make them look good too. I know that, and that's what Harley is. We make each other look so bloody good. Yeah. Well, I could go on and on and on, but I do realize that there is a weekend coming up and you don't want to sit and talk to me for the rest of the half hour, but if any of you would have any questions later, I'd be happy to answer them. Do I go down?
So thank you so much, Otis, to bring that perspective. I think one thing which, before we walked in the room and Otis mentioned to me that some of his buddies today are 30 years and 25 years. So there isn't any generation gap anywhere because there is one reason they're all together because they ride a motorcycle which is Harley-Davidson. So I think that's something for us as marketers, very important that when we think about a product, we tend to go back and think about positioning before we think about lifestyle. I think it has to be first that why are we building this product and what kind of lifestyle will it bring to people's life and then position it. And that's what we do at Harley-Davidson. So if we can go back to the presentation, please. We will always have technology errors. Okay. Yeah, so we can go back to the, it's not coming there, I think. It's Thank you. So yes, we've heard Otis very beautifully and so passionately spoken about what he's so passionate about. It's the community which Otis also said that, when he rides and he's ridden in different parts of the country and with riders, what is this community? And most of you would have read about Harley Owners Group and how we've built the community, whether it's during our MBA time, or you've seen that poster on the wall, whether it's your brother, or it's your father, or it's your sister, or your boyfriend, or your husband. So for us, it was very, very important that we bring the same experience in this country for our riders. For that, I will play one video for you, which personifies that what we've been doing all over the world for 114 years. We've brought the same experience down here when we bring our customers together to give back to them. At a very fundamental level, I think as marketers and as brands, it's so important to think that yes, it's very, very important to bring the future, but it is equally important to take care of the existing. Because it's the existing, and today's day and age where customer is so, I think he's far intelligent than we thinking that we know it all because we are sitting and we are engaging with brand, but they are much more intelligent than us because they are buying into that lifestyle. So what we've done is that, and which Arjun, our business partner, is going to talk about, is creating such experiential events where people can meet each other, laugh with each other, share their passion, talk about the ride they've done, share, exchange their patches, exchange their pins, tell their story. And that, I will cue a video for you and then call Arjun on stage to talk about his experience. So if we can cue the video. So before I get Arjun on stage, let me talk a bit about him. So he's a son of a Harley owner and I think a father of a future Harley rider. An extremely passionate rider himself, but somebody who really brings that smile on customers' face every single day of his life along with his team. I mean, we sit at our office, but he actually brings that smile on the customer's face every single day, every second, along with his team. So it takes a lot of effort. It is not easy to sell a product like this. It is still a two-wheel. It is still something you feel when you're on the road, whether you ride any other two-wheel and whether you ride this one. But the only thing which differentiates Harley from any other brand is what just Otis has personified it so well. And that's why there's a saying that four-wheel move the body, but two-wheel move the soul. So Arjun, come on stage and talk about your experience.
Thank you, Pallavi. Again, like Otis, I'm not much of a talker. I like to sell motorcycles and make sure the customers are getting the best experience they can. Harley-Davidson, how do you explain that? How can you explain? What can you say about Harley-Davidson? I've been working with this company for the last 6 years, and trust me, there's not a single word or a sentence or a statement I can say that this is what Harley-Davidson is. Yes, people talk about passion, people talk about freedom, but they don't quite sum up the whole feeling of Harley-Davidson. We have customers like Otis. How do I treat this customer? He comes into my shop, he sits there for 4 hours every day, drinking my coffee, my tea, taking 4 hours of my life every day, but there he is. And that's the kind of customers that we have, and we have 3,000 of them today. I'm really proud of that. Our team, this guy, he has a tattoo on his arm. which says Harley Davidson. Which brand can you tell me that you would tattoo on your arm? Which brand? Whether it would be Apple, Samsung, nothing. It's Harley Davidson. That's the kind of feeling that comes into this brand. And when it comes to selling this brand, that's what makes it challenging. The only message to my team that I give is when the customer walks in, give him respect, communicate, communicate, communicate. That's all. We've had our ups and downs. If you look at this business from a business point of view, end of the day, you still need to run a balance sheet. You still need to run a profit and loss statement. But if you look at the business from only that aspect, you're going to fail. And that's exactly what happened to us in 2010. Like any other business, we own a couple of businesses, and if you look at this business just from a business point of view, it failed miserably. From there, 6 years hence, Otis can vouch, and so can the company. We have become the best chapter in the country, the best dealership in the country in terms of delivering customer experiences. It's not been easy. The team has completely aligned itself to give the best customer experience, again, just by communication. So that's all I can say about, yeah.
I think he's being very, very humble, but absolutely, I think, and that's at the very fundamental level, is that a premium brand or any brand which is built on community, if you look at, I mean, some of you, like NH7 Weekender, something which a lot of us can relate to, how they started to today, how they've built that community, and it's thriving on that. So I think that's where it's very, very important at a very fundamental level that as marketers, we understand that what is that purpose. And I'm reiterating this because I truly believe that we need to have a purpose to bring that smile on customers' face. And I'll share one small story that it starts from the person who's standing as a guard at any of our stores. And when I went to the US and I was at the museum, at Harley Museum, it was 8:30 in the night, and we said, you know, we were all very excited first time at the Harley Museum, you know, you want to go there, you want to see each and everything, imbibe everything about the brand. And this gentleman who was standing at the main entrance said, ma'am, it's shut, you'll have to come tomorrow. And we were 5 of us and we requested, and he said, let me see what I can do. He, of course, because we were employees, he said, I will. But the important part was, we do a museum tour. He knew every single thing from the beginning till the end of when we built motorcycle, all the engines we've built, the patches, the motorcycle which we secured during the Japan floods. And that was striking. He's a guard who stands outside, and he knew everything which is inside the museum, which is not his job. His job is to smile outside, and that's it. But he knew everything, and that is what I think is the most fundamental level, that it is not somebody who sits at the top. It is somebody who's right at the brass tacks of things, to feel connected to what when a customer walks in. There has to be a connection at the fundamental level. And that was an experience I took back when I came back, you know, when we were launching. It meant a lot for me, and it still means a lot for me. And I still remember that guy every single time I walk into any other dealership of any other brand and somebody smiles at me, that guy reminds me. So these are small experiences, but I think as marketers, if we take and imbibe these small things, we can build on really emotional aspects. We're all human beings. We're not gadgets. We can't be influenced only by technology. We're influenced from the heart, come what may. So with that, this is Arjun and his team taking the Chapter of the Year trophy. We do something. So every dealership has a chapter, a hog chapter, and they fight for a lot of things, for points, for to be that chapter. And it takes a lot of effort and time. All these riders, from Otis to everybody you see on the stage, they're normal people like us. They are businessmen, they are doctors, they are lawyers, they come from different walks of life. They have a lot of other things to do. But when it comes to winning something as a community, it means a lot to them. From organizing a small event to organizing a bike night, getting people together, making those calls. It is surprising for us to also see that how they do this. And that's why I said that it's so important to take care of your existing before you build on future. Because future, nobody knows how future is really futuristic. What you have is your present. If you can't take care of your existing present, future, you don't know how it'll ever come. So we really, really believe in that. You, of course, always believe in the long term. You have to be futuristic, but never forgetting what you have right now. So with that, I've spoken a lot about Harley, and you know your brand more than anybody else, and you're all from really different brands and different fraternity. But so takeaway, if I have to just give 5 takeaways, I think the most important is know your customer. And when we say know your customer, not just by research what agencies give you. I think know your customer by talking to them on your own, meeting them on your own, not what an agency gives you, because agency, to my belief, always gives you what you want to hear. And that's been my experience most times. But why do they buy? Why do they buy? And what lifestyle do you want to sell to them? And then position your product. And this is the case study I want to talk about. Back in late 70s, early 80s, an organization in the US started to build pet rocks. And these are just pebbles you can pick up from anywhere. But they said that we want to give them as pets to little children. And they packaged it in a way that it served as a purpose, as a pet in children's life. It's a rock. And they became multi-billionaires back in 80s. So it is how you're positioning your product what matters. It is a rock which you can pick up anywhere. So, which then brings me, it's important today, you see anything, any brand, whether it's a movement, whether it's a culture, it's any festivals, it's built on community. It is the people who use your product are the most important aspect of you as a brand to grow. If there is no community, and I don't mean like a community as a very strong community, it can be community in any way. Influencer community, or a community of people who can influence, help you form decisions which will really help your brand for real, not on the basis of just research. To sum this up, know your customer, why do they buy, what lifestyle, position the product, and build the community. So with that, I want you, and I want you all have wildest of imaginations to whatever you can do with your brands. And I want to leave you with one thought and with this one video. And thank you so much for listening to us. Screw it, let's try it. I'll cue the video for you now. Thank you.